Wow, what a headline. Who, wow, what wonderful news that I never would have expected coming out of my country. Fewer cousins marrying in Bradford's Pakistani community. So, Bradford. Um, wonderful. Great to hear that this was a fucking issue. The number of people in Bradford's Pakistani community who have married a cousin has fallen sharply in the past 10 years. We are improving. A study suggests higher educational attainment, new family dynamics, and changes in immigration rules are thought to be possible reasons. not, not just because everyone came to the realization that's kind of messed up doing that. Not because of that, but because it got harder to do the weird thing. Wonderful. Jubaria Ahmed married her cousin in 1988. The 52-year-old teacher said her children once asked her how she and their father met. This is how I met your great cousin. I was laughing at them. I said I didn't really meet him. My parents took me to Pakistan, and my dad said, "You're going to marry this person." And I sort of knew who he was. But the first time I met him properly was at the wedding, she says. My kids said that was disgusting, and then they told me, "Don't you dare make us do anything like this," because, intelligent children, they are aware of how messed up that is. Like, incest is like banned for a reason, right? You don't want a bunch of Habsburgs walking around. No offense, some Habsburgs follow me on Twitter. I do apologize. You've got a lot better. But your ancestors, they weren't exactly going to win Miss or Mr. Universe, were they? 10 years ago, researchers studying the health of more than 30,000 people in Bradford found that about 60% of babies in the Pakistani community had parents who were first or second cousins. But a new follow-up study of mothers in 3 inner city wards finds the figure has dropped to 46%. Wow, is that all? It's only half of the. What good news! Wonderful. The original research also demonstrated that cousin marriage roughly doubled the risk of birth defects, which is why naturally we are, basically, I forget what the science is behind it, but like naturally you can sense someone who is a close relative of yours. Where it's why you know how you feel like no sexual attraction whatsoever to any members of your family. That's like hard built into your DNA. That's not you just being a good person. That's evolution doing its job, right? That's why you don't feel anything like that, right? It's not, a bit of sense of morality or anything. That's just nature, right? And the reason nature doesn't want you doing that is because you get these decrepit 3-armed retards walking around, which, from a survival aspect, which is where evolution is supposed to be, in favour of, is not very good. It's not very good, when the saber tooth leaps out of the trees, they don't want a guy standing there going, "Hey, you guys," they don't want that. That doesn't work. Such offspring do not survive in the wild, which is why we have a natural proclivity to not engage in sexual relations with close members of our family. However, in I was going to say in Pakistan, in Bradford, it's almost 50% of the community. The original research also demonstrated that cousin marriage, I've just read that, doubled the risk of birth defects, though they remained rare, affecting 6% of children born to cousins. It kind of sounds like a messed up practice. I mean, there's plenty, like, how many cousins do you have? I mean, like, again, it's a Pakistani family, so maybe you've got about like 15. Maybe you've got like 15 cousins, maybe more, maybe less. There are millions of men and women for you to choose from. Like, it doesn't have to be your cousin. If anything, the dating pool's very, very small if you're just choosing from your cousins, right? When there's millions of men and women out there who aren't going to give you little gremlin babies, right? I'm just saying, it just makes sense. In just under a decade, we've had a significant shift from cousin marriage being, in a sense, a majority activity to now being just about a minority activity. Yeah, just about. It's almost still half, said Dr. John Wright, chief investigator of the Born in Bradford research. Born in Bradford research project, and they found that half of everyone was from a fucking two cousins fucking. Why am I laughing? That's so fucked up. The effect will be fewer children with congenital anomalies. How wonderful. Cousin marriage is widespread in Pakistan administered Kashmir, where many Bradford families originate. Sometimes a young person in Bradford is married to a cousin in Pakistan who then comes to live in the UK. But members of the community say there have been intergenerational tensions over this tradition, with some young people firmly rejecting the idea of arranged marriage and cousin marriage in particular. Both are right. Do you want to know what's worse than an arranged marriage? An arranged marriage to a family member, like that's to a blood relative. That's fucked up. Both are fucked up, but one is so much worse than the other. Our generation really fought for it, says one young woman. 10 years ago, my mum was adamant that we would all have cousin marriages, but now she doesn't focus on that. I think families realised that they couldn't control it. They knew that being in Britain and being exposed to so many different viewpoints, it is going to change. The Born in Bradford study originally recruited 12,453 pregnant women without regard to ethnicity between 2007 and 2010, whose children all joined the project when they were born. Their health has been tracked ever since. Another 2,378 mothers from 3 inner city wards were then recruited for a follow-up study between 2016 and 2019. The new research compares them with the 2,317 participants from the same wards in the original cohort. In both cases, mothers of Pakistani heritage made up between 60% and 65% of the total. Isn't that weird how they actually chose people at random, and people of Pakistani heritage made up well over half? The Yanks won't know. The demographic markup of Bradford, a very different place. But Bradford is not a white town. And while 62% of these women in the original group were married to a first or second cousin, the figure fell to 46% in the later group. What wonderful news. The fall was even steeper in the fast-growing subgroup of mothers who were born in the UK, from 60% to 36%. That's because they had been raised in a superior culture. I mean, everyone can turn around and go like that. That's racist. That was a racist thing you just said. But I'm very sorry that I don't want to fuck my cousin, right? Well, fucking staying on me, maybe my white privileged straight arse, look at me talking down to these wonderful, diversity as our strength cultures, I think incest is bad, fuck me, right? Although the women included in the latest study are all from less affluent inner city wards, the researchers say they are still representative of Pakistani heritage mothers in Bradford as a whole. Professor of Health Research Neil Small, who has been involved with Born in Bradford from the start, says a number of possible explanations for the rapid fall in cousin marriage are now being explored in consultation with the community. Awareness of the risk of congenital anomalies has increased. We've known that for thousands of fucking years. Like I said, it's literally built into our DNA, like through evolution, that you don't feel attraction towards your family members. Staying in education longer is influencing young people's choices. Education fixed it. Colour me shocked. Shifting family dynamics are changing conversations about marriage between parents and children. Changes in immigration rules have made it harder for spouses to move to the UK. So basically, when we went, no, your cousin that you married can't come and live with you. That's fucking weird, is what's causing it. So there are some people that still want to fully go ahead with this shit. One person affected by new immigration rules was Bradford-born Aisha, who married her first cousin in Pakistan 8 years ago and gave birth to their first child the following year. I don't know why. I just imagined a Pakistani Ricky Berwick. That's not funny. Her husband was unable to move to the UK until the baby was 2, meaning Aisha had to work long hours as a home carer to reach a salary threshold introduced in 2012 for anyone wanting to bring a spouse from outside Europe to live in the country. She thinks cousin marriage is a valuable tradition, though, and regrets that it appears to be in decline. I don't think my children will marry cousins. They will lose that connection with Pakistan. You want to be a patriot? You want to be true to your nation? Fuck your cousin. Oh, You're not trying to fuck your cousin. I thought you were a patriot. I thought I thought this was Pakistan. I thought this was Kashmir, bro. Uh, Selena recently married a man of her own choice with her parents' consent. I'm outgoing and I want to work and do things with my life. Someone from Pakistan wouldn't accept this at all. I mean, who wants to let women do stuff? You know, after all, she says that they would never let me live like this. We wouldn't agree on how to raise kids and how to teach them values. The other sister, Malika, is also planning one day to choose her own husband. In other words, do the normal thing. Before, even if you had an education, you wouldn't be expected to carry on with it. You would have been thinking of marriage, she says. Now that's changed and the mindset is so different. She adds that young people today have more opportunities to meet potential partners than their parents ever did, and that social media has helped provide contact with people outside of our parents' eyes, which, yeah, that would be true. The Born in Bradford team has made efforts to explain to the community how congenital anomalies come about. Yeah, don't have sex with blood relatives. It's like it's dead easy. It's like so fucking easy. Like it's probably the easiest thing in the world. You just have to do nothing, but instead you're getting parents like flying you out the country and forcing you to fucking do it. They occur when both parents carry a particular defective gene, which may happen when the parents are unrelated, but it is more likely when they are cousins. Anomalies can affect the heart, the nervous system, limbs, the skin, or other parts of the body. There are they are sometimes untreatable and can be fatal. Dr. Amra Dar, a medical sociologist with the University of Bradford's Faculty of Health Studies, says cousin marriage is a risk factor, but not a cause of congenital anomalies. That's science. I'm sorry, that literally is science. Incest babies have like a way higher chance of developing abnormalities. This has been known for thousands of fucking years. What are you talking about? She points out, you're a doctor, apparently. She points out that the 2013 Born in Bradford study showed that the risk of married cousins having a baby with a congenital anomaly was similar to that of a white British woman aged 35 or over having a baby with an anomaly, including Down syndrome. Right, and yeah, after 35, that increases with women because, you know, they're starting to approach the menopause. That shit's starting to wind down. Like, that's normal. That's not just, oh, well, white women. No, that's everyone, everywhere. That's women everywhere. Like, if you have babies over 35 years old, then the risk of that is higher. That's true. That's just something that can happen. But you're turning around and going, actually, this natural process that normally happens is just the same. Like, nah, that's bullshit. Fucking look at you trying to play it off. However, she says health workers have sometimes told parents of a sick child in the Pakistani community, it's because you married your cousin. Based NHS. It's culture blaming. It's culture blaming, she says. You're talking about the politics of race and health, the minority being judged by the majority population. No. We're talking about medical science that's been very, very well established for hundreds of years. It's something that is so well known to us that our own bodies literally actively have like preventative measures to stop us from doing that. Like, literally, that's not. You're just being racist. Stop fucking your cousins. Stop fucking your cousins. It's not hard. It's literally shut up, racist. Okay, whatever. Fuck your cousins. Have a bunch of little mongoloid babies, right? Whatever. I just think it's very, very unfair in the child just because you had millions of people to choose from, but you decided, no, I'm a proud Pakistani, so I'm going to fuck one of my family members. No, it's weird. I'm sorry. It's fucking weird. I'm not sorry. Why am I saying sorry? She says that cousin marriage was once common among the white British population too. We got rid of that a long time ago. Citing the case of Charles Darwin, who married his first cousin, Emma Wedgwood, all back in the 1800s. Not in 2023 or anything like that. You're talking, you had to go as far back as like the 1800s. According to Professor Small, about 1 billion of the world's 8 billion population live in societies where cousin marriage is commonplace. That explains so much. However, it is now rare in the UK. How wonderful. In the Born in Bradford study of 4,384 white British respondents, only 2 people were first cousins of their partner and 3 were more distantly related. How did they do that? I'm pretty sure that's illegal. I'm pretty sure that's a crime. If a group of teenagers interviewed for BBC Radio 4's Born in Bradford programme is anything to go by, the next generation in the city may be even less open to marrying a cousin. We're improving as a nation. How wonderful. One 18-year-old said they didn't see it as a very normal thing and they were grossed out by it. Correct. I don't think I'd be willing to marry a cousin from back home, they added. Zara, who's also 18, says that circumstances have changed. It's easier to meet new people nowadays. Say you were from a village in Pakistan, it was easier to meet someone there. But now in Bradford, you can meet so many different people and you can still marry your people, but not someone you're related to. Issa, 17, says that more people are now aware of the increased risk of congenital anomalies and it makes them less likely to want to marry a relative. It's more of a person's preferences. It's just my preference, adding that he thinks cousin marriage cases have gone down as there is no longer a cultural reason for them, such as conserving land ownership within a family. Amari, 17, says different things are accepted in different cultures. However, we don't see cousin marriages happening that often in the UK anymore. I think I'd let my parents find me someone, but not a cousin, she says. They know me and they know my type, so they would find me someone nice. I would never, ever, ever in a million years let my mum and dad choose my spouse. Never. Absolutely never. Because they would choose someone like them. Right? No, thank you. Right, but I'm so glad that Britain is improving. I'm so glad we're getting there. There's a bunch of social issues and things that obviously we as Brits have to worry about. But cousin marriage is on the decline. How wonderful. How wonderful. And there's been a real hotbed issue ever since. When did the first boats arrive? Ever since then. A real hotbed issue, and I'm very, very glad that as a nation we are improving.